You asked for it, and here it is. My Ghost in the Shell collection. I have many things I'm going to show you today as we get through everything, telling you all about it. We'll go right to left, traditional manga style. So I have all my books here. First thing we're looking at is the original Ghost in the Shell books. Now this one here. This is a first edition. Still printed on pulp. Not the best print. Got some good full color scenes here and there. Very cartoonish, the original manga was. Funny enough, this is a first edition. And the first edition's actually not that great because they actually had scenes removed from it. There was a very sexy scene that had to get cut, and that made it to later cuts. And we have the two sequels. Starting over here is Ghost in the Shell 1.0 Human Error Processor, which is mostly about Bato and Togasa, and some rookies which appear in the show. This one's, it's alright. It's kind of a bizarre continuation of the original, but doesn't have that much to show you. Then, of course, we have this here. This is Ghost in the Shell. The second one. This one is called Man-Machine Interface, and I'm not even gonna bother explaining it because if you understand it, good, tell me about it, because this is one confusing book. This is the newest I have in my collection. This is Ghost in the Shell. 5 new short stories. And I haven't read it yet. But it's got one by, I believe that's, let's focus there, To Ubukata. And I've seen what he's done. He did Marduk's Scramble, which was weird. It was like, first it was robots, then it wasn't, then it was like Casino Royale, then it went back to some weird techno-organic stuff. Very interesting. These I did read, and a lot of these are old. The Kodansha books you see right here, 1 through 5. These are manga-fied versions of episodes of the show. You got Standalone Complex, number 1, section 9. This is kind of the intro episode redone. Dropped it. Book 2. Testation. This is based on the Runaway Tank from the second episode of the series. Thirdly, Idolator. This is based on another episode of the series, a standalone title. The fourth book was Yes. That was about them trying to prevent an assassination attempt on an old wealthy billionaire. Then the last one, they went with Not Equal, which I think was a really good choice for the final one because the episode in it is action-packed. There is a lot, and it's all pretty great. As far as how good the adaptations are, they're actually not drawn that well, but I still appreciate it, so I bought them. Over here, these are light novels from Junichi Fujisaku, who wrote some of the episodes. They're all standalone stories. This one called The Lost Memory. I believe this one is a complete story. I don't remember this. It's been a very long time since I've read it, to be honest. But next to that, we have Revenge of the Cold Machines. This one is also based on the standalone complex universe, as you can see. This one is actually 2 very short stories and 1 less short story, so there's 3 stories in this one. Then there's this one, White Maze. White Maze is essentially a Motoko fights vampires, only they're not actually vampires, and she knows they're not vampires, but there's vampires. Over here, you can see the PopCap figures. I keep saying PopCap because that's a game company. The Pop figures. The Major, Bato, and even the Geisha, which originally I didn't even want, and I don't know why anyone would, but it was on clearance when I saw it, so I got it. That's a Great Omen, right? Already on clearance. Over here I have some of the original materials. Way in the back is the 25th anniversary edition of the original film. I've only taken out this disc once because I'd already seen it on many different formats before then. I simply saw it and said, hey, I gotta have it because I'm a fan. Thing is, I'm not actually a big fan of the original film. What really hooked me was the TV series, and I'll show that to you later. This is Ghost in the Shell 2.0, which is actually not the second film, but just like a sort of redux they did, where they added new effects. And what I did here was a little bit interesting. I made my own Blu-ray disc collection. So what happens is, you get the Blu-ray for Ghost in the Shell 2.0, which has a copy of the movie in its original state on it. Then you turn it over, and here's a DVD copy of Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence. And then my original DVD copy, which I just put in here so I could collect everything in one spot. Pretty good. As for Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence, there was a big problem with actually the translation and the voice acting, so there was a rights issue. For the longest time ever, I had to watch it in Japanese until recently. That's when it came to this Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence. This Blu-ray was released very recently because this one was following up the film. So, I like it more than the original film just because for me, it has more substance. It's a little less slow-paced, and I'm gonna get filleted for saying that by some people, but it's how I feel. It has more of a horror movie aspect to it, and you'll notice that when you watch it, it gets weird. Want to move over here next to Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, the complete collection on DVD here and here. This one has all the individual DVDs packed into one. You can see like the 7 discs set here. Fun thing was that a lot of these discs were released independently, and some of them had DTS capabilities, and that was the only additional feature. There were one copies that had Dolby Digital, and others that had DTS, and inside a couple of them, I'm not going to open this now because it's too hard to open, but I did manage to get one for this one, and I believe the first as well. DTS copies on DVD, pretty cool. Second gig, the second series, really cool box here. I knocked everything over. Second gig, really cool box here. Got a little magnetic flap that goes open. Same deal with the other one. Got a cool little inside insert here for the opening. Then you got all the discs. I know I replaced this one because this one was another one where I found a DTS disc. And this is cool. This is a badge for Togusa. How about that? Just keeping that in there. Down here you'd see this, and what is this? This is actually a bootleg that I bought on purpose. Yeah, let's get some autofocus going on. There we are. I really like this because the art was so good, I just had to have it. I knew it was fake, but I worked at a movie store and we sold it for cheap after we got it, so I just went and bought it. Lots of details on here, there's lots of things written on it. It folds open quite nicely too. Look at this. Look. Quite a sight to behold. Disc number 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's upside down. 3. And 4, you notice that it's a lot of the art from the other series, but it's the art on top of the box, except instead, now it's printed right on the disc. And, you know, I got the art behind it. The clips are really weird. Watch those. You see this? Yeah, that's weird, the way it folds in. So that's what that is. A bootleg I wanted. As far as the rest of the series, they did a series where they turned the entire first season of the show into one movie and called it Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex: The Laughing Man. This is another one where I made a special copy of my own. You have the Blu-ray version right here when you open it. But then, open it further, and I actually have the DVD copies, which came on 2 discs. So the front has the original Blu-ray, and these have the 2 discs, the one for the movie and the other for the features. Same story with Individual 11. This one was also an adaptation of the whole show, crammed into 2.5 hours. Not as good. It doesn't really translate well. There's too much involved, and it's not great, but I still have it. There's the disc. There's the DVD copies. Right, everything in it. I also have Solid State Society, the film, based on the show. The alleged 3rd season, you could call it. There it is, with the original Blu-ray again. And then there are the 2 DVDs. You can see right there. Then there's this steelbook I got when it originally came out on DVD instead of Blu-ray. So the only thing actually inside it right now, holes are empty, but over here, this is the soundtrack to the film. Solid State Society. You play, it plays right away. Pretty good stuff. Yoko Kanno's a great composer. Moving on over here, we have the Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex game for PS2. One of our people in the forums had this. This is an okay game, to be honest. There's one thing Ghost in the Shell nailed down on it is mediocre games based on the series. Yep. There's a PSP version of the game too, and actually it was a completely new game and a sequel. It was also just okay. Had bad controls. This is a limited edition steelbook for the 2nd season. This is one of those rare DTS books, but I kept it because, I mean, just look how marvelous this steelbook looks. Moving on over here, I have the Arise series. These are the English releases, which have 1 disc for each episode of the OVA, 4 episodes total, 50 minutes apiece. And, you know, you can just turn it right there, and there's, you know, the videos on the spine. But this is what's really cool. These are the limited edition Japanese runs of them. Each one has its own slipcover. So yeah, you get that. And then when you cover it, it only covers part of it, so it does a real cool artistic effect. I'm gonna put this down. Yeah, there was no way I was gonna put that in one-handed, but all the way through, and it lines right up. Pretty cool. Also, what's inside of them is really cool because each one comes with a film strip. So if I open the 4th one here, so here's like the 4th one. Man, these are hard to open. You got that there. You get these manuals that actually explain the plot to you right here. And then there it is. Strip of film Each one has their own. Some of them were decent, others were pretty bad actually. Got like a cell of the credits or something. I'm not kidding. That's everything I have. Swipe through that again. A pretty good collection. Some things that are notably missing are that I don't have the Blu-ray copies of Standalone Complex, the entire series, because from what I understand, the Blu-rays that recently came out in lieu of the show were very poorly indexed and not even that great quality, so I'm waiting for those to go discounted before I go buying them.
What you mean, in other words, is that you figured out a way for a busy public security worker to grab a little R&O.
Real quick thing over here. Got a little the major Vitruvian person here, complete with the triangle and the different motions. I like this one. Got it at one of those T-Fury kind of places. But this one over here, this one is a really old shirt that came with one of the special editions. If there was a way to restore t-shirts, I would love to know, because this thing is beat. I have had it for so long. I barely wear it because I'm just worried I'll wreck it even more. Upstairs in my room there were two posters. The first poster you can see is a fabric scroll. This was a fabric scroll that was made for the show at the time. And then there was originally an Xbox poster over here, so that's why it looks like that, but this is actually a copy of the free poster I got for the 3D IMAX screening I went to. There were like 20 people there. It was pretty barren, though I ended up actually mingling with people over some drinks about the movie. Most of them hadn't even heard of it either. I guess I was the only like super fan there. So there you have it. My collection. What am I missing? Let me know in the comments. So that's my Ghost in the Shell collection. Thanks for watching, everyone.